language when I said call. Yeah. Keep calm. In this episode, I'm on the hunt with my dad, Janis Putelis, in the high country of Colorado for bull elk. We're using our bows, the bulls are bugling, the aspens are on fire, and it's going to be a fun week. And a little frustrating. I got my work cut out for me. 20 yards, I gotta get one in front of you.
Yeah.
10 might be better.
Well, I'm sure you're capable.
We'll start easing our way up there. I think we need to be patient and go slow. And I think there's elk around that just aren't talking right now, and as it gets light, hopefully they'll pipe up a little bit. Did you ever get a shot at an elk with a bow? You tried once or twice.
Almost.
But we've killed a lot of elk with rifles together.
Oh, yeah. All right, so the first 2 years we didn't get anything. So every year thereafter I got an elk. So if you were there for 12 years, that means I got 10 elk.
So that's the goal, is to get one with a bow.
Yeah.
Are you gonna shoot a cow or a bull?
Sure. Cow's fine.
Can't shoot spikes.
I understand.
All right, let's ease up this trail just a little bit. Look, it sounds like there's quite a few on the other side. I don't want to get too far up. Sounds like there might be one right here.
The elk are feeding in a giant hayfield at night. At first light, they start moving towards their beds, which are on a north-south ridge. Sometimes they bed before the crest, and other times they bed right on top. The wind is blowing out of the west, but it's not really blowing at first light. So, instead of playing the wind, we're actually working with a downhill thermal. The top of the ridge slopes gently to the south, so the thermal drops to the south. The side of the ridge drops to the hayfield to the west. The thermal on that side of the ridge is dropping down and to the west, right into the elk's noses. We're trying to stay perfectly parallel with the elk until they decide to crest the ridge. Once the elk are on the ridge, we are then downhill from them and thus downwind. I need to get my dad into position so that when they crest the ridge, he's in bow range, or close enough that I can call a bull into bow range.
It sounds to me that the bull, the smaller bull, is heading away from it. But not that big one.
Wind is like, I don't know why it's just not falling.
You think you're gonna call it back up?
I mean, we're gonna try to call it. There's like 4 bulls.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4.
No, like right there. 4 right there. Yeah. I think there's some elk just over this little rise. So we'll sneak up there and find a spot for you. I'll probably just come right back to here.
Okay.
I don't want to really drop into that valley.
Right.
Because then our scent's going to go down.
Right. Yeah.
We set up so that my dad is down off the ridge, but behind the elk so they don't wind him. I'm up on the ridge and can get just a bit farther above without getting winded. My hope is that if a bull comes to my calling, he'll circle downwind of me right into my dad's lap.
Right here. Cow was like 20 yards. I think there's another one right here. I don't know what that is. Hell of a concert.
Hunting on a private ranch isn't all rainbows and ice cream, especially when you're guiding a 72-year-old and he's your dad. I assume that my dad was a seasoned elk hunter, and in some senses he is. He's killed a pile of bulls and cows using a rifle, but his archery elk experience is limited.
It just looks like he doesn't want to leave the cows. Janis not making the threatening enough bugle to get him down.
On top of this, his hearing is nearly gone from a lifetime of power tools and guns. His eyesight limits his effective range to 30 yards, and his spatial awareness of where the elk are is way off, as evidenced by the cow that popped up at 30 yards unbeknownst to him. Immediately, I'm having to adjust my expectations, tactics, and goals.
Ingen koordineert det, kärre.
Ja. Jag fick du nästa out. Du sa ut en kostet.
Because he doesn't want to fight me.
Yeah.
We got to get closer.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's try it. I guess parking at the hay barn would have been a little easier.
Training a little harder would make it easier too.
Never short of the wisdom, my son.
It's there's nothing that makes it harder than packing around extra weight.
Oh, no shit.
The elk are in the same location as this morning. They've come down from their beds on the timbered ridge to feed in the hayfields. I see a ditch that would allow a person to sneak right into the herd, but my dad is only good for one run and gun hunt a day. Now this is something I've never seen. A cow elk chasing a coyote around. I think she's saying, I'll tolerate your presence, but don't get too comfortable. We decide to just watch them and enjoy the evening. Plus, if we hunt them right and don't apply too much pressure, they should continue to do the same thing and we can hunt them all week.
pushing over the ridge, so we can't move much forward. So we'll wait for the master to come back and see what he says.
A bull comes to my calling, but it's not the right one. For a bull to be legal in Colorado, he has to either have 4 points on one antler or a 5-inch brow tine. A spike is about the only elk that you cannot shoot. It's a cool encounter, but we're on to the next one.
To save your legs for the morning, gonna put you in here for the night. And I'm just gonna hunt my way back to the ranch.
Okay. Shawigadam.
Shawigadam literally translates to shoot past, similar to break a leg. To save my dad's legs for the morning run and gun sessions, he's going to sit water in the evenings. There's not enough room for 2 of us in a blind, so I go ding-dong around on my own.
Well, sorry for not getting it on video. It just happened too fast and I couldn't even reach over and hit the power button. The bull was coming and I had to draw. Came out in the open. It was a little bit thick. You can see behind me. This stuff's pretty tall. But, so I shot through a little bit of just minor brush, but it was like so close. It was 15 yards. And I heard him run up this hill and he came up onto this bench. I thought I heard one heavy boosh, but it didn't sound like a crash. Very sparse blood. I found my arrow. So I don't know yet what I hit, but he must not be a very stinky bull because walked right by him, went to this meadow above me, and just thought, I gotta come back and find blood. And basically stepped on him. Here he is. He is what they call barely legal here in Colorado. I'm so pumped. Got to 25 yards of a 5-point, and he saw me draw and boogied out. I've been sick to my stomach all day ever since. But it happened. I was just not calling, just following the herd. There's 2 or 3 bulls bugling and just kind of just staying with them. And eventually, I figured they'd slow down, they'd feed, the bull would chase a cow past me or something. Well, this little guy just decided to come feed up in this meadow instead of going with the rest of them. Archery elk hunting is a tough sucker. My dad and I are lucky enough this week that we get to hunt an awesome private ranch. We've had elk encounters every single hunt we've been on. But even then, man, everything's got to gel. And he's quite possibly the smallest bull I've ever killed. But, man, to do it with a bow and arrow is so special. I did the same hunt that I did last night. I got to the ridge that we'd been hunting, and I was just sitting there for 30 minutes, and it was dead quiet, and then all of a sudden one bull popped off below me, and I waited another 15 minutes, and he popped off again. I thought, well, that's all I got going, so I bailed off towards him. Yeah. I get down the hill 100 yards, and then a bull screams above me from where I just came. And him and 6 cows come barreling down the hill right by me at 70 yards.
But not this guy.
No, this guy is way later. So I went down, and I was just creeping along, just following
that main ridge now.
No, no, I left the ridge and dropped down.
Oh, you're in the valley below it.
So I'm on the hill, dropping down.
Yeah.
And the wind's coming up.
Perfect.
Yeah, there ended up being more bulls started piping off. Once I got into the bottom,
just like this morning,
it turned into probably 3 or 4 different bulls bugling.
Wow.
Some of them were a little farther away, but right in front of me there was at least 2. And I was easing towards them, just taking my time. And then all of a sudden this guy is, for whatever reason, walking towards me. And when I first saw him, he was already at 50. And I thought, oh, he might come through that gap. I'm looking. And sure enough, I see him moving. And I draw, and he pops out of the gap, and he's just point blank range. But it took me a little bit to find him because not a good blood trail.
Hey, man.
I had to do some loops.
Good job.
Yeah. Now we'll focus on bears.
Okay. And
no, I'm kidding. We're going to focus on your bull.
Messing with me again. Yeah.
Pretty crazy. I mean, there's elk everywhere right now.
Yeah, down below it somewhere.
Yeah, they're with that bull. Unfortunately, we need to find a bull with no cows. But there's a bunch of bulls out in the meadow that don't have cows with them. So I think we're just going to be patient. You know you're in a special place when you're not 5 minutes from the Can-Am and you can hear multiple bulls screaming their heads off. But we need to be cautious and slow. Luckily for my dad, taking it slow is a necessity at age 72. Get in front of that snag. You didn't have a shot.
No, too far. 60 yards. Oh, she's moving. She just got her wind. Last day, it's been an experience, all right? When you talk about journeys, hunting journeys, this is definitely the ultimate because you get to hunt with your son. You're in beautiful surroundings. But it's also like going to a workout camp. Because Yanni will put you through the paces. Eating the elk is good and fine, but it's all this that's taking place. That's the best part about it. You can't get this kind of peace in the city.
The final morning finds us in the thick of it again. We're close to the herd, but I can't quite entice the bull to leave his cows. That was a great encounter. Lots of bugling, but barely a glimpse of an elk. That's elk hunting for you. There's been a pile of challenges this week, but none so hard as having to reset my expectations and goals for the hunt. By coming to a private ranch, I thought I had set my dad up for guaranteed success. But from the first arrow he fired at the target, I knew it was going to be a struggle. As bad as I want my dad to kill an elk with a bow, he may not want the same thing. He may be just as happy to be in the woods, carrying a bow, listening to bugles, spending time with his son.
I forgot how hard this was. You forgot, or I did?
I did. No, it's a good test for me as a human. I was talking to Carl Malcolm about father and son relationships and how hard they are. All he said was 2 words: unconditional love.
That's right.
And that's a very hard thing for me.
Why? Because you're looking at the success side or the love side.
I don't think those are the only 2 sides. But yes, I guess I am taking the hunting maybe too serious.
The love that I have for you and that you have for me that basically puts up with the little character interactions that we have. So you have to get over yourself to find the love.
Yeah, that's hard.
Right. So when your kids are small, it's easier, because kids don't have any boundaries and they're typically love all the time. Well, when you get to be an adult, you start putting in these little qualifications. I mean, you think it's tough now. Wait 10 years. Your kids will be giving you crap too.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, about how annoying I must be to my kids and how that's just going to get worse.
Well, I don't believe that. I think you go through cycles, and I think everybody does, like in that learning curve of what to accept and how to love people.
Have you figured it out now?
No, still working on it. I think you're very fortunate that you figured out what you're good at and that you can share that with other people. And that's, most people...
Which is what?
Oh, you tell me what you're good at.
I don't know.
I think what you're doing right now, today.
Hunting?
Well, that is sharing it with other people. That knowledge, and you're ever learning. Ego aside. Show humility and open your mind up.
As my girls age and come into their own as hunters, there's nothing that puts a bigger smile on my face than watching them execute hunting decisions on their own. Whether it's the decision to sit instead of walk, what path to take to execute a stalk, or the decision to shoot or not. I guess you just get to sit back and watch all of the training you've put in as a parent come to fruition. It's all entertaining, and I imagine that's what my dad is enjoying.
Probably put your arrow away because it's going to be
even if his son is constantly barking at him about moving too much or not being aggressive enough. Once I put my need for him to kill an elk aside,
that one exciting.
the week became much more relaxing and fun. He'd probably tell me, just go with the flow.